Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Guys, everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because, guys, almost 34 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 34 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. Yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling, and I want everyone to know someone is listening. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm also a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com, and guess what, guys? My book is now on audio with my voice. Simon & Schuster wanted to do it with someone else's voice, and I said, no way. So my producer, Ruben Rodriguez of Hamilton Radio and Iron Horse Films, is now doing audiobooks with your voice. So if any authors out there want your book done, reach out to me. Now listen, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help you. Before I introduce my really cool guests, let me give a shout out to just a few of my sponsors. First, I've got Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer, www.mzanman.com. Zanman is a really great entertainer, guys, and he'll have you laughing and smiling and dancing, and he's amazing. And something really cool happened recently. So he recorded Mel Carter's song, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, and put it on Facebook. What he didn't know was I was sending it to my buddy Mel. So Mel calls me and says, Jer, your boy did a good job. I said, can you tell him personally? I got Michael Zaman on a three-way, and Mel Carter told him personally. He did a great job. Unfortunately, Mel's not doing well, so I'm asking everyone to please, please keep Mel Carter in prayer. Then we've got John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, tribute artist. So I gave John the nickname the man of many faces, but he was given the name by a former Philadelphia mayor as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. He is Rocky, baby. www.johnmonforto.com. And, you know, he does about 30, and he's incredible. My three favorites, of course, Rocky, The Godfather, and Elvis, baby. And then Michael D'Amore, singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer, www.michaeldamore.com. So let me tell you something about Michael. So, you know, Elvis is up here, right? Nobody could touch Elvis, especially to me, right? Okay, my guest is smiling. Michael was the first one I ever said, actually, I could put him under Elvis. That's how incredible this man is. And I'm not kidding. Check out his music, okay? But I did something cute for Carter Rubin. He was the youngest male winner of The Voice a few years ago, and he's like family to me and Michael. So I did an interview, and I said, okay, Carter, I'm moving Michael down a notch under Elvis, and I'm putting you above Michael. So that's a cute little thing right there. Now we have Stormin Norman Selden, 732-245-4777, www.storminnormanselden.com. Booking dozens of attractions for concerts and performances on venues of all sizes. The guy is a beast on keyboard. He's got from a 5 to 12-piece band. He came live in studio with his keyboard, forget it. But what he's doing now for seniors is amazing. If any of you are stuck at home or bored, he's coming to your home and he's giving keyboard lessons. And what a lot of people didn't know about Stormin Norman is that he helped get Larry Chance from the Earls back in the day started. Larry Chance, you were like family, love and miss you. I know you're singing in heaven with the angels. And then last but certainly not least, John Bishop, aka Johnny B, singer songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. So he's also the partner in the Joey D and Johnny B Rock and Oldies band, but now he's also branching out on his own. Okay, John Bishop, very cool. Shout out to him and his wife Linny because they put on this entertainment luncheon once a month. It's by invite only. If you tell them you know me, they might let you in, or they might shut the door. I'm not sure. It's $20, guys. Great food and great entertainment. So the last 2 years, I was honored to MC at Let East. Um, we had Michael Zanman opening up for Michael Diamore, and then we got John Monforto into the mix. So I'm hoping it'll be the same this year. It was really awesome. So shout out to Let East. So, having said all that, now I can introduce my really cool guest. Okay? So, Kevin Bazkur, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone, and Jerry is the best.
Kevin, you're right up there, baby. So, tell them a little bit about yourself. Okay? And now, I titled the show Quinte in the Groove.
Yeah.
So, tell everyone who you are, baby.
Okay, well, it's a long, long story, but I'll give you the short story. I was born in Toronto, Canada. I loved doo-wop and oldies music from the beginning. I was listening from when I was 5 years old. I've had the opportunity to see just about everyone in concert, whether it was in Canada or the United States. I just love music. I had two collectible record stores in Toronto with a partner. We had all the music of the 50s and 60s. We loved all that music. And about 8 years ago, I started doing a show in Belleville, Ontario, Canada called Quinte in the Groove. My record store was In the Groove Records, and Quinte is a region in Ontario. So Quinte in the Groove, we thought it was a cool name.
Oh.
And yeah. So I've been doing the show almost 8 years. Coming up shortly will be 8th anniversary, and started a new radio show a year ago called Kevin's Jukebox Gold. That's just me playing music from the 50s and 60s.
Look
And
at me,
it's a
baby.
lot of,
Look straight ahead. There you go. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. It's a lot of fun because I can play whatever I want. Nobody, as long as it's from the 50s or 60s, I can play whatever I want. And it's a lot of fun. And people send requests. If they want to send a request, I'll play your song for you. I'll get it in there somewhere. And it's fun because I do about anywhere between 15 and 19 songs in an hour, depending on the length of the song. And most of those oldies songs are pretty short. So we get a lot of songs in, and people seem to enjoy it. So I've been doing that one for almost a year now.
So, okay. So, I don't mind saying my age, and you don't have to say yours, but I'll be 64, and I'm an oldies person. I always say I was born too late. I always
Yep.
say I'm an oldies doo-wop Elvis girl, okay? I was born in 61, and the majority of the songs I love came out before that in the 50s and the early 60s. So, I don't know how that happened, but it did. But you don't look old enough either. Were you born too late?
Yeah, like the ponytails, born too
Yeah.
late. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I was born in '63, but as I said, I was always when when I was a kid, I was in Toronto, Canada, and in Toronto, Canada, we had a great radio station called Chum Radio,
Oh.
and they played all the music, the 50s and 60s, and I could get all the signals with my little transistor radio across the border, so I could
Yes.
pull in New York, yeah, Buffalo, wherever, and I would be listening when I was supposed to be sleeping. I'd be under the blanket with my transistor, and I'd be listening to that music, and I always loved that music. So that's how it all
Yeah.
started. And then the record store was a lot of fun because we would go all over. I would go to New York. I always talked about, I loved Greenwich Village many years ago, 40 years ago,
That's my
because,
place, baby. That's my place.
yeah, because if you wanted records, that's where you went for records. I mean, you could get anything. And I'd bring them back to Canada because we had like a finder service. So people would say, can you find this for us? And we'd go and we'd bring it back, and made a lot of people happy, right?
I went to School of Visual Arts in 79 in the Village, East 23rd. So I grew
Cool.
up in Long Island City, New York. I moved to New Jersey when I was 12. So the Village is my place.
Yeah, oh, I love the Village. Changed a lot now, though. I
Yeah,
was
it
there a
has.
few years,
It
so
has.
changed a lot, but I still love it.
I still love
Lots
it.
of
I went there
lots.
recently, and the SVA is still there. It's still, I love it. You're never going to take that out of us, right? Once you
No,
experienced the Village back then, you can't take that out of us.
yeah, lots of good food always, and
Yeah,
it's fun. And you still often see people, even now, people singing on the street
that's
corner
right.
there. That's really cool.
That's right. So, I have a couple very close friends, like family, that live in Canada, Ontario, and you all say the word about the same.
Yeah, well, out and about.
I
Yes,
love it. I
yes.
love it. I love accents, and I just love it. So, I had one Canadian singer who said about, and I stopped him dead in his tracks. I said, "You're saying it wrong."
Oh.
And he laughed. But all right, so now let me ask you something. So, all right, so back in the day, so we're close in age. So back in the day, growing up in the 70s, 80s, I mean, of course I still love that music too. You know, you can't
Yeah.
take the rock out of me, Led Zeppelin, I mean, Foreigner, right? All that. Who were some of your favorite groups?
Well, back in the, I guess, 70s, 80s, I liked Elton John. I liked Foreigner. There were so many wonderful groups.
Yeah.
We were spoiled. Boston was
Yeah.
very good.
Genesis.
Uh, yeah. Oh my God, we had so much to choose from. But you know, I got to be honest. I'll tell you the honest to God truth. About 90% of what I was listening to, even when I was in high school and university, I was listening to the music of the late 50s and
Me too.
60s.
Me
I,
too.
yeah,
We
yeah,
had
I just love,
98.1, Kev, and that's all, you
yeah,
know. My first
yeah,
concert was Foreigner, by the way. I was in high school, Foreigner.
cool,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of great music from that period, but I was always like the oldies. The thing is, I listened to all types of music. I listened to opera. I listened to everything in that time. But my favorite was always
Oldies.
if I had, say, I had my Walkman and you were listening to the music on the Walkman, it was pretty much going to be 50s and
Yeah.
60s. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you about the 50s and 60s then. Who were some of your musical influences in that era?
Oh, there were so many. I love the Platters. I love
Okay.
Tony Williams, the original lead. Um, I love sort of what I call the operatic singers, and I think I mentioned it before. Roy Orbison, I saw
Oh,
him
come
five
on.
times.
Oh,
Uh, Yeah, I mean, when he sings Crying, everyone tries to sing that song, but his is just the definitive version. And so I loved Roy Orbison. I loved Tony Williams. Um, I loved a lot of the groups, the Mystics.
okay. Yes.
I love the Mystics. I loved the Dubs. There's so many wonderful, the Cleftones, so many wonderful groups from that period. And that's the thing, when I was talking about doing Kevin's Jukebox Gold, it's so hard to, like some of the groups I've got like 20, 30, 40 songs that I can pick, and maybe I can only put two or three on the show. So I always say, well, you come a couple weeks more, I'll play some more of the
Yeah.
songs because I love all the songs. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not just like those people that sort of like one song or
Mhm.
whatever. I like all the
Yeah.
songs.
Well,
Yeah.
the Dubs, the older guy, he's still
Yeah.
alive. I got to meet him.
Cleveland still?
There you go. Thank you. And I got to meet his
Yeah.
son, and I've got them in my phone, and we communicate. I mean, I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" And now
Oh, yeah.
I want to share a beautiful story about the Mystics. Okay? So, Al Contrara from the Mystics, he lives only a half hour from me. So, he's been live in studio a few times, and he kept promising me because one of the members was dying. And he
Yeah.
kept promising me, Jer, before he passes, I'm going to try and get the final interview with you. So, he sets it up. This was right before he died. He sets it up, and we're going to be doing it over the phone. And I had to get all four of them on a like four-way, blah blah blah. So I said, let me call him first in case he can't do it. Then I don't have to hang up and get everybody back on. They were all thinking when I got them on he wasn't going to be on, and his wife answered and said, Jerry, he's not well, but he wants to do this. He did it. They were all crying, and I think he died within 2 weeks after that. So that was so beautiful, Kevin.
Oh,
That was so
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. And people ask me when I started doing the show Quinte in the Groove, I had all people in my local area. And I did that for about 4 years. And then along came COVID. And we couldn't record in the studio anymore with COVID. We were not allowed. We couldn't go in the building. We couldn't do anything. So we started to do the interviews on Zoom. And I thought, well, geez, if I don't have to just have local people, why don't I get some people that I really want to have on? And that's how I started with the music people. And then the first one I had, a guest that you had on was Warren Gratis,
Oh,
who sang
yeah.
with the Belmont.
Oh,
What a wonderful man he
rest in
was.
peace.
I'll tell you a little story that people don't know. Um, when I was trying to get him on the show, some people don't know me. A lot of people know me, but some people don't know me. And I had the opportunity to see Warren in concert in Toronto over 40 years ago, 45 years ago. I saw him in concert. I actually have photos of him in concert somewhere. And so he was trying to figure out, who is this guy in Canada? Why does he want to interview me, from Canada, whatever. So he gave me on the phone, he interviewed me of what I knew about the music of the 50s and 60s and the Belmont. And then he finally said, okay, you can interview me now. So we
Oh,
did. Yeah, we did 3 interviews over the time. We did 3 interviews, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking with him. But so because of what happened with COVID, I started using Zoom, and now I interview people all over the world. So it's a lot of fun,
yep.
and it's really fun for me when I get someone on like that, or Lenny Welsh, or Norman Fox, all
Yep.
those kind of
Yep.
people.
I've done
And I
them.
and I
Yay.
and I have to give a big shout out here. You know who I'm going to say? John Terlizzi, because John, I don't know what he does, but he must stalk these people or whatever, and he gets them for an interview for me.
Did you use the word stalk? Do you know what I call him? Our
No.
favorite. He's my favorite stalker on Facebook.
Well, there you
Okay,
go.
I've gotten to meet John. I see John often, but he
Yeah.
loves it. I call him my favorite stalker. He stalks everybody. Okay, it's
He's
so funny.
he's a cool
Yep.
guy, and I bring him on my show every once in a
Yep.
while,
I
and
just saw it. Yep.
he gets to play all the music that he likes. I say, you pick what you want to play, and I'm going to play it for you. And I pick some songs for him to surprise him of my own music, and we have a good time. And the people, they really seem to like it because they know the two of us love that music
Yeah.
from that period. So
John
it's a lot of
Terlizzi,
fun.
man, we love you, baby. Our stalker.
He's a groover. He's the man.
So, all right. So now let me ask you something. We have a couple of your songs. Let's play one. Let's give everybody a treat. These are a couple of his favorite songs and mine as well. I love these songs. And then we'll talk about what it means to you. All right?
Okay.
Go ahead, Doc G.
Heart and soul, I fell in love with you. Heart and soul, the way a fool would do, madly, because you held me tight. 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 And stole a kiss. There in the night. Heart and soul, I beg to be adored. Yes, and I lost control and tumbled overboard gladly. That magic night, we kissed. Oh, we kissed. Oh, we kissed. Oh, we kissed. There in the moon mist. Oh, but your lips were thrilling, much too thrilling. Never before were mine so strangely willing. Darling, and now I see what embrace can do. Come on and look at me. You've got me loving you madly. That little kiss you stole. Oh, you stole. Oh, you stole. Oh, you stole. All my
Oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you. Come on, tell us what that song means to you.
Well, it's a great song. It's a song when you listen to it, you can't help but be happy. It makes you happy when you hear that song. I love it. It the Cleftones. I still think were one of the most underrated groups. If you ever, I always tell people who are interested in learning about the music when they if they send me an email or a message, I say go and buy yourself a Cleftones collection, and you're going to hear some good songs. You have to remember the Cleftones were around 19 started around 1955, 56, and their songs were way ahead of time. If you listen to the beat, like the term I like to use is it really cooks. When a song really has a beat to it, it really cooks. And they were way ahead of their time, and they kept going for a long, long time until the lead singer passed away a little while ago. But I love the music of the Cleftones, and I love, when people ask about doo-wop music, a lot of people have different definitions. And then a lot of people get angry when you call this type of music doo-wop, but I call it doo-wop, and I love that name. And I love the fact that uh, people took sometimes classic songs, like Heart and Soul was a classic song. So many songs, even like if you take the song Blue Moon, that was a ballad maybe in the 1930s or 40s or whatever. And they made it, what I call it, they doo-wopified it. They made it into, you take nonsensical lyrics. Like if you think about the song Blue Moon, bomb ba da bomb ba dang a dang dang ba ding a dong ding, blue moon.
Yes.
So you mean you're taking a classic song, but you're making it in your own style. So Cleftones, Heart and Soul, great song, and I would say to anybody, go out and buy the Cleftones. It's worth the money.
So, all right, so I love that you have all this knowledge because I really don't. I know a lot about Elvis, I just love the music or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you are incredible. So I'm really glad Warren didn't give me that test because I would have failed. Okay? I'm going to give you a little test here.
Oh
All right?
no.
So Elvis sang a couple doo-wop songs.
Okay.
Do-
I know he did a version of Little Darlin'.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's doo-wop.
Elvis could sing anything.
Oh, come
That's
on.
that's another thing. I don't have to tell you,
Come
but
on.
for the listeners out there, Elvis could sing country, pop, gospel, rock. I bet you if you knew about rap, he could do rap. He could sing
Honey,
anything.
he
He could
could.
sing opera, operatic, uh, like Return to Sender. He could sing anything. So, yeah, wonderful. Elvis, that's, when people say to me, uh, who haven't you seen? Because I've seen so many performers. I didn't see Elvis live, and I would have loved to have gone to see Elvis. I really would if I had that
All
chance.
right, so I still have the ticket, Kevin. I was 16 when he died. You were a little younger, and I still have the ticket. My mom finally said I could go with my aunt, who already seen him, got a kiss from him and a scarf years before that in Vegas.
Wow.
And he died right before. So I have
Oh,
that framed in my Elvis poker room. I'm a poker player and dealer. I had a pink and purple Elvis poker table made, and I made 1,000 Elvis chips, and even the guys love it. So
wow.
yeah, I never got to. Um, so I'm going to share something with you. I'm not sure. You may know, you may not.
Yeah.
So I was honored to interview Elvis Presley's nurse, Marion Cock. Keep her in prayer. She's in a facility now. And we
Oh,
became very close. And this was probably 2016 or 17. And through her, I got very close to meeting Priscilla, but we've communicated. But then COVID hit. But I got to
yeah.
interview Priscilla's son, Navarone. And then I interviewed, okay, here we go, two people who are Elvis's children. I got to interview Elvis Aaron Presley Jr. twice, and I got all court documents, and I even got the letter from Graceland to the courts back then stating he deserved the name of his father. And then I interviewed Deborah Presley Brando. She was actually the first child, and she she has a story. She has a book she wrote. I couldn't put the book down. It's huge, and I couldn't put it down.
Wow.
And so you could check that out. And I was honored by that. If I couldn't meet Elvis, I was honored. Um,
And it's great when I hear those stories, and keeping the story alive. I did get to interview Elvis Aaron Presley Jr.
There you go,
and
baby.
he is an incredible person. You know, I don't say I think he is Elvis' son, but I don't. You know, there's some people that say no, yes, no. It's not my business. All I know is he's an incredible person. He's a great entertainer, and I love talking to him about everything he does,
Yes.
because so much of what he did in the time, a lot of people don't realize, he did a lot in Canada. He had the Elvis Presley Museum was in Niagara Falls for like so many years, and he traveled around Canada doing concerts. He used to play in Toronto a lot, where I lived when I was born, and so I always loved him. And I always say to people, go out and see him in concert.
Yep.
There's so many talented people who are tribute artists. Richie Santa, you know Richie
Oh yeah.
Santa, a wonderful guy. I interviewed him. I think anything to do with Elvis is darn good.
Well, Junior, I mean, again, I have the court documents, so he
Yeah,
is his son. And, Howard Stern interviewed him, National Enquirer, amazing.
yeah,
But guys, go check him out.
yeah.
So now I have a question for you. Now, here's a little test, okay? See if you
Oh
know
boy,
this. All right,
more testing.
here we
What's with
go.
all this testing,
One more,
Jerry?
baby, one more. And I have faith in you. So the song
Okay.
Short Shorts. Who wears short shorts?
Oh yeah, yeah. I know them.
Okay, so I've interviewed most of them, and one was recently in my studio live. And now, this question I have for you is this: do you know how that song was written?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm going to tell you because it's really cool. John
Okay.
Trelizzi just said hello, by the way. Hey, John.
Okay. Hello, John.
Yep, we gave you a big shout out, boy. All right, so the boys, they were teenagers, and they went in and they wrote just the music. So they go in and they loved it. And they said, yeah, but guess what? We now need words. And they're all looking at each other like, words. So they go to get in a car and they're driving around town thinking, how are we going to do this? They're not songwriters. And they see a hot young babe in short shorts. And they start singing, and that's how that song came to be. That's why pretty much most of the words are only who wears short shorts, she wears short shorts.
It's a great story, and it
Yes.
shows you how songs sometimes are written, right? We
Yeah.
just don't know. But that's really cool. And they're still going around. They're still performing.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So other than Elvis, who have you not met that you always wish you could have in the industry?
Oh boy, that's a really great question. I think you're gonna think this is very peculiar, but I would have loved to have met ABBA, because my wife's favorite group is ABBA. So
Oh,
I've seen a lot of the tribute shows, but boy, it would be cool to meet ABBA. I think they wrote so many great songs and made a lot of people happy. So yeah, I'd like to meet ABBA.
so okay, so your wife is sitting next to you, isn't she?
She's right next to me.
Can
Yeah,
she say hi? It's up to her.
yeah, sure. I
Okay.
want to get her so she's not in the sun here.
Hi,
So
sweetie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So okay, so ABBA, huh?
Yeah,
So when did that begin? When was your fascination with them?
mid 70s when they started.
What's your favorite song?
Take a chance.
Oh, you knew that right away. A lot of people say, well, I can't really say because I have too many. Like, I can't tell you Elvis's. That was pretty cool. All right. So, do you listen to ABBA in the house a lot?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and he gets into it.
yes.
All right. Now, other than ABBA, who were some of your favorites?
Beatles. I've been a Beatles fan since birth.
Okay, that's pretty cool too. I mean, come on, right?
Yep.
Who can't love the Beatles? All right, beautiful. Any Elvis in there? Come on, I'm listening. Say it.
Yeah, sure.
You're so cute. Thank you.
all right.
Um,
Thank
okay.
you for saying hello to my wife. That's Janet, and
yes.
Janet is awesome. And I'll give you a quick story because I know you love these stories.
Yes.
It's going to be March 2nd. We'll be married 5 years.
Oh.
And when we got married, we went to Vegas, and we went to the Hilton where Elvis used to perform. They've got the statues and everything and the photos on the wall. And the chapel there was the Chapel of Crystals. So we were happy we got married where Elvis performed. and I thought that was pretty cool.
Are you kidding me? That's incredible.
Yeah, we just went there and said, let's get married, and that's going to be 5 years on March 2nd.
Okay, so I have to tell everybody that story.
Yeah,
Okay, amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. You know the song Such a Night?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one. So do you know that most tribute artists will not sing it?
I didn't realize that.
Yep. So you ready for this story?
Okay.
All right, because I've interviewed tons and tons of tribute artists, right? And Richie was probably one of my first. So anyway, they won't do it, and they're like, well, we really can't get it like Elvis. And I'm like, so what? And they're like, no, 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 no. Okay, all that. So my grandson, who's 24, he'll be 24, my daughter, they brought me last year, about over the summer, to the Hard Rock Cafe in AC. They surprised me with Sean Clush.
Oh, yes.
Okay, baby. Oh, yes. They had a younger Elvis and then Sean. Okay. Now we're in the center row, maybe 10 rows back. So we're right in the center, about 10 rows back. I have my Elvis shirt on, my Elvis hat, and my grandson. He's like, I did this for you, me mom, who ended up loving the show. Okay. Well, Sean's talking to us, whatever, and I stand up and I yell, Such a Night. Within a tenth of a second, I kid you not, Kevin, the band started playing it. My grandson was like, what? But he only sang like the chorus and stopped, and he looks at me and he goes, really, lady? You want me to sing this song? I got to sing for another hour. You want me to do that? I can't do it. I'm not Elvis. And we all laughed and clapped, but at least we got that little bit. Even he wouldn't do it.
That's a cool story. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that song.
But I got to tell you something. We all loved Elvis, and I don't know if I told you this before. People always ask, where were you? People when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated or whatever. I remember I was in a Greasy Spoon, an old diner in Toronto on Queen Street, and I came in with my mom. We sat down at the counter. I was just going to get like a Coke or something, and we kept hearing Elvis on the radio in the restaurant. And there was no disc jockey or anyone talking. It was just Elvis songs. And then finally I said to the short order cook, I said, what's going on? Why do they keep playing Elvis? And then he told me, he said, Elvis died. And I was like, I was in shock, And it was really interesting because that evening at Ontario Place, a music venue in Toronto, was Sha-Na-Na. They were going to be there. They used to do the music of the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
They were going to be. They did it. I didn't go. I was not, after hearing, I was not in the mood. But they did like a half an hour tribute for Elvis. My mom loved Elvis, so she was kind of, at that time, I remember she was kind of devastated. She always loved the music of Elvis, like "Are You Lonesome Tonight?" Those kind of songs. So Elvis, it's interesting through time how Elvis has affected us. And when you talk about interviewing people like Junior or Richie Sanders or whatever, such an important role. And like where we got married, there were so many places in Vegas that you could get married. There's so many places, but I thought that was a cool place to get married.
That's so cool you did that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right, so now let's talk. Oh, well, you know what? Let's play our second song. Then we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk a little more. Okay.
All right.
Once in a while, will you try to give one little thought to me? Though someone else may
What does that song mean to you, Kev?
Well, there's a lot in that song. It's a beautiful song. You know, when I was talking about when I was a child, that was one of the songs that used to come across on the stations from New York a lot. So I remember that as a child. When I was in high school, uh, 1977, 78, it was still a big period of the revival because Happy Days was on TV and all that. So we would have dances in the school, 50s dances,
Yep.
and that was a song that used to play. And now it's really interesting. If we go out, I'm not what you call a fast dancer. I like the slow dances because that way I can catch my wife. She can't run away. I can hold on or whatever. So I like that. And also at the end of every show that I do, every Kevin's Jukebox Gold, I call it the slow dance. So at the end of the show, the last song is always going to be a slow dance.
Oh.
So that one is the proverbial, along with Earth Angel and that.
Oh
Those are
yeah.
the kind of songs that everybody
Oh yeah.
likes at the end of the dance. So
And it makes
that's what.
everybody ooh like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Earth Angel, that was beautiful too.
yeah, yeah. So many to choose from. You know what I mean? But I
Yep.
picked those two because they had a lot of meaning for me.
Did you ever do any singing or any instrument playing or any of that?
Oh yeah, I played saxophone when I was in school a little bit. This is long ago, but I used to sing. We used to sing all the time in the cafeteria. You'll see if you look online pictures of me. Um, we used to sing in the gym and whatever, and we used to do the talent show. People would be playing like punk rock and all kind of stuff, and we would be doing like Teenager in Love or uh, Charlie Brown, the Coasters. We would be doing all that stuff. So I always loved that music, and I love to sing it. Where I am now, I just don't have anybody in my area. I don't have anybody to sing. Like if I got to sing all the parts, I got to do the bass part. I got to do the pulse. So I got to do everything. So I wish I had somebody here to sing with.
Well, do you do any a cappella? Can you give us a little bit or you don't want to?
Oh, sure,
All right, let's
sure.
go, baby.
Okay, I'll do a little bit of Teenager in Love.
Yeah.
Each time we have a quarrel, it almost breaks my heart, 'cause I am so afraid that we might have to part. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? So that's all you get for now.
That's okay, baby. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
That was cool. So, all right. So now, couple more silly questions. All right.
Sure.
So now, a lot of the oldies music. So we used to have 98.1 here in the
Yeah.
tri-state. So a few years ago, because I listen to now Sirius Radio, mostly oldies and Elvis. So a few years ago, I said, let me check it out and see what oldies are these days. It's 90s music.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
I was not happy and I felt so old.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard. One of the things that I know, and I think you know, and you were mentioning Mel Carter not being well. We have lost in the last couple of years so many performers, and if we haven't lost them to a greater place, they've retired. And there are some wonderful performers like Michael Zaman and that out there now recreating the music. So God bless them for doing
Yes.
it. But it is, to me, it is a bit scary because I feel like I'm losing a big part of my life.
Yes.
And that's why I tried to add that other show, Jukebox Gold, so I could play a lot of that music for people. There are so many people that don't know these songs, and I'm trying to at least tell people a little bit about the performers and play the songs, and it means a lot to do that, and and it was one of the hardest things was when we mentioned Warren Gratis earlier, when he passed.
Yeah.
Um, I have such memories, and you've spoken to so many
And I've
people,
met him. Yep.
yeah, and people that have passed, and those memories of talking to them and having that. And so when you play an interview, we always have that. At least we always have that. So I think it's important what you do, interviewing people and getting their stories. And can you imagine, like, if someone has grandchildren and then they pass away, their grandchildren can listen to that show? That'd be
Yes.
very special, I think.
Yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
and what you're doing as well. I mean, it's amazing, and it's sad. It's heartbreaking, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but Kev, I interview a lot of young, up and coming artists. Okay, indie
Yeah.
artists, and some. I interviewed someone who was 9 years old. Amazing.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
and I asked them all like the same question. What you guys think of the old oldies? And every one of them, in their own words, say if it wasn't for that music, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's wonderful. I'm glad
Yes,
they are able to recognize
it's the
that.
truth.
And yeah, it is. There's not a lot of time left for what we're doing, and we need the people, you know, like the Arminios.
That's right.
There are people out there, um, uh, Jerry Fanfarelli, the 45
Yep,
show
I love
band.
all of them. Yes.
They're doing such a wonderful job keeping those songs alive and the music alive. And I think we got to support them. Go out and see the
Yep.
shows. Go out and support them. And it's funny when we talk about tribute groups and artists. The probably the number one when you go back to 1969 at Woodstock was Shanana.
That's so
They
cool.
were they went right through. When you think about the television show, when you think about the movie Grease, when you think about all these things that they had going that they were involved with, and now, like about a year ago, the group Shanana retired. There were only two or three of the originals, and one of them passed away. Screaming Scott Simon, the piano player, and now Bowser, who has been doing his shows. I think he's doing a last cruise, and then he's retiring. He's like 77.
He's
So
retiring. Yep.
these were the kids that came along to pay tribute to the originals, and now they're retiring. So Jerry, we got to start a band here or something and keep this going.
Well, do you know who Joey K was?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I was supposed to interview him, and he died a week before the interview. And
Oh,
I got close to him and his wife, and he was the youngest drummer for oh, help me.
the Comets, Bill Haley and the
Yes, thank you.
Comets.
He was the youngest drummer. And
Yeah.
he said to me, we were talking one night, and he said to me, Jerry, Elvis didn't start rock and roll. Bill Haley did, with Rock Around the Clock. And I cracked up. I go, all right, listen, I'll let you say that, but very respectfully. And he laughed. He goes, don't worry, I will. But he passed away. And then Willie Winfield, I got to meet and hug backstage.
What a what
Uh,
a wonderful singer. What a wonderful
I was
performer,
crying.
and a gentleman.
I was
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
So I got close to his family, and they got the
Yeah.
sign made. Winfield's, beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so tell us a couple really cool stories that most of us won't know.
Oh, well, what do you want to know? Music stories, or what
Yes.
would?
Yes.
Um. Okay. So this is a and I probably mentioned this to you before. Um, it was the time that I met Little Richard,
Okay.
and Little Richard was coming. He came to Toronto, and he was doing a book signing tour. He had a book, and I still have it signed by him. And the book was The Quasar of Rock and Roll. And Quasar, for people who don't know, is the brightest star. As you know, Little Richard was very modest, right? The brightest star, right? But anyways, he came to Toronto to sign the book, and he was in a small store, and nobody knew he was there because they didn't promote it.
Oh my
I hate
gosh.
when they don't promote. So there was like maybe 5 people in line only, right?
For
So I
Little
got
Richard.
for Little Richard, yeah, I
Okay.
couldn't believe it. So I got to talk to him for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, maybe more. And he loved it because he was going to sit there and not sign autographs, nobody there, right? And what an interesting person. When you sit down and when you see him on TV and he's all jumping around and very loud and whatever, but when you see him in person, when you saw him in person, very quiet, like to talk about the Lord a lot and like to talk
Oh,
about God a lot. And I think when he signed the book, I think it was something biblical. I just can't remember. I do have the book at home, but I loved meeting him. And I always say to people, sometimes what you see on stage is not
yeah.
what is in real life. You have to remember that. But I just thought, wow, that's so cool that I got to talk to him. And can you imagine? That was maybe, I don't know the date of the book, I'm trying to remember, but like so long ago, maybe 40 something years ago.
Wow.
And whoever thought that I would be interviewing people for 8 years, if he was alive, I could have been interviewing him. You know what I mean? I was thinking
Yes,
about that.
yes, yes.
But
Amazing, right?
yeah, it was really cool to spend that time with him. So I really like that.
That's a cool
And
story.
another story, I'll do one quick story. We were talking about Cleveland still from the
Yeah.
Dubs. And I was going with my family to Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And they have American Music Theater, and they do a lot of big oldie shows with many performers, many acts. And that's where I got to see so many, because they would do one in the spring, one in the summer, one in the fall, one in the winter. And I would go for every show, go all the way from Canada, go over there and see the shows and meet the people and whatever. And the Dubs were going to be doing the show that night, and he was ill. And the Dubs couldn't do the show. And it was really interesting because Kenny Vance and the Planetones were there,
Yep.
and I was in the parking lot. And
Yay.
it was really interesting because I guess it's Johnny Gale who does the low part and also runs the band. And he's played with everybody, Johnny Gale, the guy with the long hair. And he was in the parking lot and he was telling the other band members, oh no, Cleveland is ill. There's nobody, we don't know what's going to happen. They brought the Passions in to fill the role. But I did, so I was so upset because I went all the way to Pennsylvania, and I never saw the Dubs, but they came back the next show, and I got to see him finally and say hello and meet him. So I was very happy. But it's interesting how you know you get so excited. It's funny because people get excited now when they say, "Oh, I'm going to see Bruce Springsteen or the Rolling Stones." Well, I got excited to see the Dubs, and when they weren't there, I felt so sad. So, yeah, that's when I tell you about
But
how
did
much
you
I
get
love
to
the
talk to
music.
Kenny Vance in the parking lot?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I got to get him to autograph a CD later on inside. Yeah,
I got to
interesting.
meet him a few times, but later,
What
he was,
what an interesting person he is. What an
yeah.
interesting story. Great story, and at least we got some of the Americans still singing. We got some of them originals, and when you think about his history going back to early 1960, 61 with their first J Trainer,
Yeah.
She Cried.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so he's got a history. He sang with all of them, and
Well, he
Jay Black.
sings, he sings with his son now.
Yeah, lad
So,
Vance.
lad,
That,
so I'll share something cool with you.
yeah,
So I've been to a bunch of his shows, and he would always say at one point, I'm going to pass the right to my son. I'm passing the
yeah,
cup to my whatever, however he says it, right?
yeah.
And everybody claps, whatever. And then I was talking to his son one day, and I said, "So if he passes you the cup, is that it? Is he done?" He goes, "That'll be the day he's done." I'm like, "No, he can't pass it. He can't pass it." But I'll tell you a funny story Kenny says on stage, and you may have heard it. He tells the story about him and his friends going to record their first little record when they were young. And they
Yeah,
walk into this place because you could walk in and pay your dollar, 70 cents, whatever, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
they walk in and they say, "We're here and we want to record a record, a 45." And they said, "Oh, we can't do it today. We're too busy today. You have to make an appointment." So they go home and he tells his mother. And he says this on stage. And my mommy said, "You guys go back and you tell them your mother said it has to be done today." So they were scared of her and they went back and they said, but my mother said it has to be done today. And they said, well, if your mother said that, then it's going to be done today. And that's how they did their first record.
Isn't that cool?
Okay. Can you imagine us
What a
doing that
great,
today? My mother said, you have to see me.
oh boy. But you know what? You know what I was going to say? His son Lad has a very good voice.
Yes.
I heard him do a song that I like to do, Cara Mia.
Uh-huh.
And you never think that his son does that on stage.
He
You got to
did.
have a little bit of, part of my language here, I'm going to use a kind of bad word, got to have balls
Yeah.
to do that song.
Listen, beautiful, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Very beautiful. So now, I don't want you to forget to say anything or get off saying, oh, I wish I talked about this or I said this. We have plenty of time. Anything else you really want to share?
Well, if you know someone out there that's having difficulties or whatever, try to be kind. I always say this to people: try to be kind. And listening to music, the music of the 50s, any music, but the music of the 50s and 60s, there's a lot of happy and fun music there that'll cheer people up. And I always say, if you can help someone or you can do something good for someone, I'm very fortunate. My wife, Janet, would do anything for me, and I would do anything for her. And well, there are a lot of people out there that don't have anyone. So if you can help someone, help them. And thank you, Geri, for all you do, because I know you do a lot for people.
And I want to thank you as well. I want to read a poem out of my book, Kev. All
Good.
right. Let me get it. Wait. I had the bookmark in it. Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. All right. This poem I wrote is called Utilizing Gifts and Talents. And the reason why I love this poem and I wrote it is for people who think they have nothing to offer, people who feel like they're worthless. I'm here to tell you you're not. Everyone has something to offer. Okay? God didn't pick certain people and say, I'm going to give this guy this talent, this girl this talent. No, we all have something to offer. Even garbage men. All right, imagine if we didn't have them. Forget about it, right? We need
Yeah.
them, and I think they're right up there. Okay, so I'm like that. I feel that way, and so if you are really thinking maybe you have nothing to offer, really listen to every word of this poem. Okay, guys, this is for you. Utilizing gifts and talents. We are born with talents, we are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. Don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened, and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, Kevin Bazkur, baby, will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And Kev, that's what you're doing, honey. You're making so many people smile. You are.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Geri. I appreciate that. And that means a lot coming from you.
No, but it's the truth. All right. So Kev, tell everyone how they can listen to you.
Okay, it's very easy. Yeah, you just go to Google and put in 91X 91X online, and it'll take you to the station. It's in Belleville, Ontario, and you just hit a listen live button, and we're on every Sunday, Quinte in the Groove, every Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The same show plays twice.
Okay.
And Saturday morning, every Saturday at 11 a.m., same place, 91X online, and that's Kevin's Shoebox Gold, and that's a show where we just play music from the 50s and the 60s. So I'm like already in heaven.
And you have played some Elvis for me and mentioned it, and I want to thank you for that as well, okay?
Yeah.
Give your honey a hug from me. It was great
I
meeting
will.
her as well. This is always a pleasure. The door is always open. I love you, Kev. Thank you for
Thank you,
honoring
Jerry.
me here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Doc G, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.